Welcome back. 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 The system just shut down. I don't know why. The system just shut down. I don't know why. The system just shut down. If you're watching again, do join us again. Welcome back. Sorry about the break up, the thing breaking up in the middle of it, but these things do happen, and there is not a lot we can do about it. It's very much, we will continue regardless. We intend to continue regardless of whatever is there. We're back again. So again, I'm going to put this here. So I'm going to try pin that there. Go ahead and subscribe to Season LY on YouTube. We really would appreciate you. Welcome back. There's been issues, obviously. So the question that we're still posing still remains the same. It remains, uh-oh. Yeah, is that correct? Is that on now? Sorry about that. Where's this one? Yeah, okay, it is there. Okay, good. So welcome back. Let me just check. I want to make sure that we're on the right page and everything is going fine. So the question still remains, like I said, which way for Yoruba Nation? Is the current structure or leadership effective? And we need to ask that question. We need to ask that question, because if we don't ask that question, we are kidding ourselves. We are kidding ourselves that we have a solution to something. And we cannot continue to go on like that. We cannot continue to just walk around blindly. So I am putting it to you all that, like I said before, what we have been going on a lot of passion. We are very passionate people. Yorubas are passionate. Taba think about ti gba wa lọ́kàn báyìí. A máa fi gbogbo ara ṣe ni, a máa ṣe. And that is why one of the things that we have to look at ourselves, is this. That is why prayers is such a powerful thing among us, because we throw ourselves in it. But there are steps that we need to take beyond prayers, beyond things that we're not doing. And those steps we have to look at. There's so many of us now that want Yoruba Nation. We are talking about it. Yes, it will happen. Yes, it will happen. But please, please, please. Passion has its place in this struggle. Process has its place in this struggle. Organization has its place in the struggle. Then the right type of leadership has its place in the struggle. If we just depend on just pure passion, of the 5 things I mentioned, I mentioned passion, leadership, processes, organization, and 5 of them. If we are depending on just one, we have a major problem. We can't do that. So that's why at this juncture, I propose that all of us go back to the drawing board. And I want all of us to be part of this discussion now. We need to be part of this discussion. I will switch the phone line on in a little bit more. So just let me push on a little bit, and then we'll come back and we will talk some more about what kind of ideas I'm talking about. Because all of us need to be part of this discussion now. This is, if you are a Yoruba man, what has happened right now with Yoruba Nation concerns you. If you're a Yoruba woman, what is happening with Yoruba Nation now concerns you. And you need to actively take part. We cannot look away or pray to the high heavens to come and solve our problems. We have to solve it together. We need collective spirit in our community. What is happening now is what I've stated. A lot of passion and drive and wanting Yoruba Nation to succeed. So we've all been going forward. Yes, Yoruba Nation, yes, Yoruba Nation, and we've all been going for that and talking about it and really going. I feel Yoruba Nation, back in Atigba. Yes, affirmation has its place in this discussion. Affirmation has its place. Don't get me wrong. But the hard work that we need to put on ground is yet to take place. If we are honest with each other, if we are all collectively honest with each other, the hard work, the planning, the structure, the consistent, the systematic way in which we disseminate news among ourselves, critically, that area is, for up to a point, it was very good, because we were getting we were able to, the more we shared the passion and the commitment, the more we felt good inside. Yes, we're talking about it. Yes, it's gone. Yes, this one will come. Yes. Now it's time for us to have our media structured. It's time to have the organization structured. And one critical element of all of this has to be transparency. Transparency has to be a critical part of whatever it is we are putting in place. Ooh, guys, bear with me. Okay, 1 second. Oh boy. Okay, can you hear me? I think you can still see me. Yes. So what I'm saying now is that it is, transparency has to play a big part in what we're discussing. I hope this thing is not gone off again, because I cannot see it. So it's very, very important. It's very, very important. We can no longer work on somebody said, oh, we've said this, I've done this. We need to have evidential based discussions and decisions. We need to really look at what structures are in place. What has got us to the point we are now, where everything is now gone divergent and two different people are saying different things, is because we have never had a proper functioning structure, such that if there was a faltering by the leadership can be moved to one side and the structure will still allow us to continue with Yoruba Nation. Now that the leadership has collapsed now, Yoruba Nation is not functioning. And that, if you are honest with yourself, if you are looking at me as I'm looking at you in the eye right now, you will know that there is nothing of what I said now that you can dispute. You cannot dispute a single thing of what I said now. Not one single thing. And that is what we have to address. We need suggestions as to what kind of structures we want in place. Let me see if I can put a poll up, hopefully. So let me just put it here. Will you participate in the creation of a new structure? Let me just put this here. We are talking about Yoruba Nation. I'm not talking about organizations. I'm talking about Yoruba Nation. We're not talking about organizations. This is beyond organization. Excuse me. Sorry about this. Oh, man. I'm annoyed about this. I can't really push as much as I want to push at the minute, but wherever I can, I will show up. And that's what I'm trying to do here. Sorry. So let's put this here. Okay. Save. So, yeah. Okay. So, now, what we are saying is this. Unless we have structures that we now have people that we all generally accept can come in and fill those structures, unless we have structures on ground, Yoruba Nation will falter as soon as our leadership falters. Unless we have structures on ground, where the people who are going to come in to fill the roles that the structure demands, they will fill it, knowing fully well that the structure is important. If they don't meet up, they can be moved to one side and they will not bring the Yoruba Nation movement to a halt. What has happened now is with Yoruba Nation now, nobody can dispute the fact that there is a major problem with our movement right now. Nobody. I don't think anybody can dispute that. So what we need is active participation by all of us. What do I mean by active participation? We now need to agree among ourselves, come up with suggestions about the kind of structure that we want to see working in Yoruba Nation. Working in Yoruba Nation. The kind of structure that will allow us to achieve our common goal, which is Yoruba Nation. That will sustain us from where we are now inside contraption Nigeria to the point when we get Yoruba Nation. We need a structure. It's like a bridge. We need a structure that will act like a bridge from the current situation that we're in, which is inside contraption Nigeria, to the promised land of Yoruba Nation. It has to be a bridge, and all of us has to build that together. And the more all of us involve ourselves in that process, the more we can believe in it and work on it together. I state again, without transparency, whatever it is we are doing will take us longer. One or two people will be doing good things, but the collective, unless we adopt those good things and make it into a structure, a policy, something that we can all work on and something that we can see is working, we cannot achieve Yoruba Nation. Yoruba Nation has sort of faltered right now. I won't say it stopped, but it's faltered. It has faltered. So we have to be very, very clear and consistent about what we're saying here. We're saying that there is no doubt about the passion with which we are going for Yoruba Nation collectively. There is no doubt. Collectively, our passion is on point. The passion, yes, and somebody will come. But the passion is one thing. It is only one part of what we need. Passion alone will not get us Yoruba Nation. Oh, I'm passionate. Yes. No. It's good. It is part of the package that we will need. We will need passion. We will need commitment. We will need structure. We will need transparency. We will need accountability. We will need those key things, because everything I'm telling you now is going to reassure everyone that joins us in this struggle. When they see that there's transparency, if you ask a question about funding in a particular area, they will get you that information. If you ask you about the lives of people who were lost in a particular area, they will give you that information. That is when we can begin to trust and believe in Yoruba Nation and our collective effort together. As it stands right now, there has been a lot of passionate talk about Yoruba Nation, and even mixed with some history. But the substance of the matter, and what do I mean by substance? By now in Yoruba Nation, we should be having structure in such a manner that every state in the southwest, in the 8 states that we are Yoruba Nation, we should have clear organizational structures that those who are keen to work on achieve Yoruba Nation will be allied to without question, because it will be simple, it will be transparent, and it would have clear structure that they can attach to and grow and achieve what we want to do collectively. Right now, nobody can tell us how many people have been killed in each state. How many men, how many women, in direct relation to Yoruba Nation. How many farmers have been killed? How many of their women have been raped? There is no figure. We have no clear strategic plan as to how we can deal with health care for our people. That needs planning. You see, when we talk about that now, you can see that passion cannot solve health. It requires planning. Passion cannot, even the rally that we're doing. That is why I propose something. I will show you something, but I'll talk about it first. I propose that in every state, when we redraft and redraw Yoruba Nation, then I will be part of that struggle. But for now, I will be watching what is going on. We will want people to come with suggestions and ideas as to how we can go forward with a new structure. And I know I have no doubt that some of the people who are part of this struggle initially, who left because of this disorganization, they have clear structure and strategy and plans that we can bring in, and we need them to come back on. But now is not the time. Now I want us, those who are currently, those of us who are feeling really low and feeling very upset that the Yoruba Nation, it feels like we've been tricked, to now redouble our efforts in terms of the structure. We need to think of what kind of structure will get us to our promised land of Yoruba Nation. What kind of structure do you believe in? So these are kind of things that I want us to really look at. And we need to begin to make sure that to bring more people on board for Yoruba Nation, part of that structure must be a plan in which the needs of our people on ground right now are met, so that they no longer depend on the oppressors to survive. You get that? That is part of what we need to be looking at. We need to have the structure that will have a system in place. Give you an example of what I mean. In every state of the 8 states, we need an elder in each of the 8 states that we see as Yoruba Nation. There has to be an elder. That elder will be the spokesman at meetings where all of the 8 elders will discuss, and they will be discussing what is happening in their own community and bringing it to the table. When they are going to make any announcement, there should be a joint announcement. There should be one of them speaking, and the rest of them, so if out of 8 is one is speaking, they're speaking for all 8 of them about issues that they want to talk about. And they should become the people that we speak to, the press, our Yoruba press would speak to go and get information about the progress of our movement. Everything else, all of the other things that we're trying to build, health, education, and all of that, should be structures that are behind the scenes, that are being hewn together relentlessly 24/7. That when our elders speak about healthcare in any area, they will be coming and telling us, this month we treated this much people, with numbers of names of people. This month we took legal cases for this amount of people. This month we saved the lives of so we start looking at real successes. These are the kind of things that I think we need to be looking at. We need to be very, very, very clear in what we are trying to achieve, because right now it's no longer sufficient to just say yes, we will get there. No. It's not. That's not going anywhere. That's not going to achieve anything. What we need is a clear structure. Don't get me wrong. The awareness that we got now was because of the awareness that was created is why Yoruba Nation is very, very popular around the world. But that awareness was driven by a lot of passion, a lot of passionate commitment from all of us. Yes, Yoruba Nation. Yes, yes, yes. And that is good up to a point. But now, we need structures so that in every state, when they want to have a rally, there is a plan. There is a discussion with the elder, with the state, with the local government elders, with the youths. They have a committee. They discuss. Okay, we are going for a rally. How many people are coming? How many people have we got? Buses? Have we got healthcare? Have we got ambulances? Have we got, have we informed the police? So there is a methodical approach in what we are doing. There is a methodical approach. That has to come with it. Please, that doesn't mean we forget the passion that we had in the beginning. The passion is still with us. But now, we now start building things with that passion. Because we will need that passion to carry us through to Yoruba Nation. We will need that passion. We will need that passion. So that is what I'm talking about solutions. I am talking about the young man that was killed now. Another example, one of the things that I would like to see right now is when we build that structure, anybody, that young man has to be, it is our collective responsibility for Europe as Yoruba Nation to bury Adeorioke or Adeorioke. I hope I'm to bury him, to go and around his mom and dad, support them, because we cannot leave them alone. Again, I'm telling you, Oloye Sunday Igboho's the two men, Afar and Adogan, those two men. Recently, we had to organize funds from the Yoruba Rescue Fund to go and support them. Somebody came up with that suggestion, to go and support the family because they've been left floundering since the death of their husband. That is not Yoruba Nation if we're doing that. That should be part of our discussion. Those are the kind of things, the day-to-day lives of people who have given commitment to Yoruba Nation should be our priority as well. It should be. So this kind of, we cannot sort of do this a little bit and no. This has got to be consistent, clear, and we need to be very clear about the kind of structures that I'm talking about. So let me go back again and talk about this is just an example, by the way. It doesn't mean that it is the only way. It is just an example, please. And it is imperative that each and every one of us participate in providing your ideas. You have to provide your ideas of how you see us achieving Yoruba Nation and what steps you are prepared to take to achieve it practically. So that is what I am proposing. I'm not the only one. I am saying to you, this is just an idea. So going back to that structure again. So once you have a council of elder, a council, you will appoint an elder in state. Kwara, Kogi, Osun, Ondo, Ekiti, Kwara, Ogun, Oyo, Lagos. So that's 8. So in those 8 states, we will have an elder that many of us in each of those states will have worked. We will do some kind of research and review to try and see who we all generally accept as having the right qualities to be the elder for the state. Don't forget, the reason I'm saying this, the Fulanis have the Northern Elders Forum. Let me say that again, right now. The Fulanis have the Northern Elders Forum. Now, quite apart from whatever they want to do, however they will see things, they are still in Nigeria. And guess what? When they have meetings, it is covered by channels, it's covered by everybody. And they state the needs of their people. Now, the job of the elders will be to speak for their people, voicing the concerns of the people. And the press will they will be the first point of contact for us to the press. So everything we want to go will funnel through from our communities, local government, into the states, and then of course into the elders. And that is really important, because the first thing first, right now as we speak, we are still in contract for Nigeria until we move into Yoruba Nation. So we will need to have people who are speaking up for the people. They are elders. So their job will be to doing that, to be focused on speaking about the concerns of the people. It's really important. And they are going to be people who are committed to the struggle. Elders who want to see their communities grow, who want to, we don't want elders to be telling us it's done. We've done this. No. We want practical evidence. We want them to be able to be engaged in their local communities. And even if this council of elders will be speaking to the kings and things, so it's not a small job, Yeti Queen, it could be youth as well, but we start somewhere. Yeti Queen, we start somewhere. If could be if the people, again, this is just a suggestion, and I like the idea of what you said. It could be that we have one elder and one youth to support in each of the states. But the point I'm making here is that we have people who are point of contacts on ground, two-way, so that the local people can speak to the people. No. Yeah. But you see, Hombeme, Washington, Wanayon, it doesn't have to be. Please, I am saying it is just a suggestion. It is just a suggestion. It is not written. That's why I said this is just an idea. Somebody may have a much better idea about how to get this forward. We might say, okay, a youth or a middle-aged or whatever you want to call it, whatever term you want to use, as long as they represent the people in that state that firmly believe that it is time for Yoruba Nation. They have to have a voice state by state, and they have to be working in with the community. This is going to be an interaction on ground. You see, without having that point of contact from the communities right onto that elder or youth or however way you want to call it, everything we say now is going to be just hearsay. Somebody can come today, I'm saying I'm speaking for that person, I'm speaking without having the facts and figures to back what they're saying. So we will need a structure from that point of view. So when anything is going to happen in any of the local government areas, there is connection, so that when they now go to the press and say, this is what we've done, there will be documented evidence that they can present. And I want to say that at this point, having the 8, be it elders, be it youth, it doesn't matter what name, it means that they speak as a group rather than one person speaking for all of us. I think that's really important because it demonstrates our collective efforts together at every point. Because right now, the kind of leadership that we have is I, me, your father, me, your mama, and all of this stuff. But it is we who is going to achieve Yoruba Nation. And I'm saying this, I'm not being disrespectful, but I'm saying for us to achieve this, yeah, even if it's if you see like a 20-year-old that fits the bill of being able to communicate the needs of the people in their community. I'm going to just say something quickly. You see, that role of the elder or the youth is going to be a dual role. The visual one is the one that I'm talking to you about, the current sufferings of our people. People are suffering. How are those needs going to be met? Through direct communication, through the organization providing succor on ground for our people and showing them that they don't have to depend on their oppressors to survive. Now, once we build that, we can now go into areas and, I don't want to go into detail, but I'm just saying that we need that structure on ground, whatever name we want to call it. So that's just one area. Then we now go into specifics of one of the things that we have to be looking at of highest priority right now is security, and we need to protecting our people. I'm not talking about the other side. I'm talking about where people will survive, how we can help them to survive. You know, Yeti Queen, I agree. They have to be part of this process. Yeti Queen, you are absolutely right. And this is why I'm suggesting that we have all of us send ideas. You can send me some ideas, email me some ideas. We will talk about it on air. In fact, I'm going to put the phone line on now so that people can call in and we can talk about it, because I don't want to just talk alone. I want to really make this something that's interactive. So if you want to call in on +44 7399 580 606. Let me just switch the phone line on, because I think I've spoken for a bit now, and I want to hear your thoughts on it. 1 second, just get that right. Bluetooth. Okay. So what I'm saying here is that it's not about. So please call in if you want to call in and you have ideas and suggestions. It's good to do that, because we will have it on record that people have spoken about it, and the kind of ideas, and we can build from there. And it is not only myself, and I'm not interested in trying to lead this. No, it has to be a collective effort. We have to be working in such a manner that if one of us is taken out, the rest will continue with this thing. That's how we need to be looking at this. Yes, okay. Oh, Ekaso, sir. Egbofangbelu Ekabo. Welcome, sir. So the key things that we have to look at now. Again, I'm going to reiterate it. And if people want to call in on +44 7399 580 606. I think it's going across the screen. Let me check if it's going across the screen. At the bottom of the screen, you will see the number. So if you look at the bottom, towards the bottom of the screen, the number is there. You can call in. What I am really emphasizing right now is that our passion has taken us so far. The passion for Yoruba Nation. I'm a Bani, I'm a She, the passion. Yoruba. Yes. Great. That was the passion. It has its place. It woke us up. Yeah. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, okay. Esheun. So look, we have to be very, very clear. Everything that we brought to the table now is useful. Even what has happened now is useful. I was talking to somebody, and he said even this fork in the road, as it were, has shown us how not to go about Yoruba Nation. So now we can now build a better structure going forward. So I don't believe nothing has been wasted. Yes, it's painful to go through the process, don't get me wrong. But even this process has shown us how not to achieve Yoruba Nation. And we can take that opportunity to build Yoruba Nation collectively. And if you are not interested in building Yoruba Nation and lining your pocket, move along. Don't get involved in what we're doing. This is a long-term, medium to long-term plan. I'm going to be very clear about it. It is a medium to long-term plan. It is intergenerational. That is to say, it may well be that this generation will hand it to the next with the same commitment, with the same drive, but with now a key difference, a structure. Right now, we don't have a structure, and that is what we're talking about. That is what we are talking about. So until we look at this critically, dispassionately, if we do not take these steps, you can shout on to 2090, 3,000, Yoruba Nation now. It won't materialize. Fact. It won't materialize. But the minute you have structure, and the beauty of the structure is whoever comes in, if they leave the position, because of the training and everything else around it, then somebody else slots in. The structure keeps the movement going. A leader cannot keep a movement going without a structure. Let me say that again slowly. A leader cannot keep a movement going without a structure, because when that leader goes, the movement collapses. What's happening now? What's happening now? Calling on +44 7399 580606 if you want to call in. I may chance it and call Egbo Frank Bello, but I'll see if he's up to it. But I just want to give us a chance a bit to look at what is going on and really assess where we are. Like I said, nothing that we've done so far has been wasted. But what we need to do, now we know better, we must do better. And what do I mean by doing better? One of the things that has to be on ground right now is transparency. Whoever comes in, young, old, let us not make the mistake of conflating Ibowo fun Agba with refusing to expose wrongdoing that will harm Yoruba Nation. The minute we do that, we won't achieve Yoruba Nation. So when somebody is asking, please provide evidence, it is not being rude. It is what we need to grow as a nation. That is very separate from respecting your elders. Eka arosa, eka sawa, eku joko, shengbomiwa, ajo, proper ajo in that way. But when it comes to nation building, we mustn't let that get in the way of achieving our nation. If we do, we won't achieve it. We will not achieve it. Fact. 100%. You can dispute all you want, but that's a fact. Yes, it is. Frank Bello, Yoruba Nation is not about money making. It's about over 6 million Yorubas trapped inside the corrupt contraption. 60 million, you mean FSO, okay, called Nigeria. Please tell Bandik to begin the process of how we can work alongside EEF, the Eminent Elders Forum. Thank you. Yes, Eminent Elders Forum. And also, if there are youths, Frank, thank you very much. Yeti, Ejo, please, those youths, please encourage them to announce themselves, because we want youths to come with plans. We want them to come with the plans to discuss this. We can go into discussions, so we can have the elders meeting, we can have the youth, and they can mix up, and we can have something. Right at this point, everybody has a role to play in this struggle. I, for one, do not believe that having one leader speak for all of us is going to work. Okay, I won't do that. Then no, I won't call you. I don't want to make a mistake. So I mean, okay, I won't call you, sir. Madru, if you are, and I know you're busy there. So, but others, if you do want to call in, +44 7399 580606. If you want to call in, the lines are open now. Let's hear your suggestions. Let's see how you see things. It's not about who's right or who's wrong. It's about suggestion right now. We have to be honest with ourselves. Yeah. Exactly. And 88-year man can't lead the struggle because of the age. The struggle is consuming. Therefore, we need agile youth to lead. Exactly. I agree, Yeti Queen. I agree with you. To lead the struggle, enough of Babasokwe. Exactly. So we need to be very honest with ourselves. The struggle has floundered right now. It has floundered. We don't want to hear someone saying we will just get there without giving us structure of how to get there. And it's not just one person. We need to have a structure where, I don't mind. Okay, calling from. Okay, let me see if I can do it. Is there a way I can do this? I know you are the number one. I don't want to risk it because I'm only taking WhatsApp call at the minute, sir. So am I worried, sir? What I will do, because I don't want to interfere with what you mentioned before, because that is very important. And by the way, Egbo Frank Bello, thank you for the work you did yesterday, exposing. Some things you talked about the Gowon issue. That was something that I wasn't very clear about Gowon and Bakassi. So it was a commitment that Gowon had placed around the neck of whoever was going to be the next president. That's very, very fundamental information that many of us weren't aware of. So thank you very much for that. More grease to your elbow, sir. Continue to expose these things. And many of us, you see, what we need to be recognized in this struggle, we have to take on many different parts of this struggle and own it and help push us to Yoruba Nation. So what Egbo Frank Bello was doing yesterday, it's enlightening us of things that we previously were unaware of. And that even emboldens us to and exposes why, even more so, why we have to go for Yoruba Nation. Because many of the things that they've been doing in the name of Nigeria has been at our expense as Igbos, as Biafrans, as Yorubas, as Middle Belt. Who did they ask before they gave away Bakassi? Who did they ask? And how many more agreements will a Nigerian government do that will harm the indigenous people? These are evidence of why we should be going for Yoruba Nation yet again. So thank you very much, Egbo Frank Bello. I appreciate the work you're doing. Continue. It's not been easy, but we won't always get it right. But what we want to do is to aim to do better. We have to aim to do better collectively, and that is what this process is all about. So what I'm saying, but Tebafe call but I don't have the phone. I don't have voice over internet. Oh, and you can call on WhatsApp if you want, sir. You can call on WhatsApp. The phone line is here waiting. If that works. And anybody else? Yes, Chad Basin is also in place. There you go. You see, I've not even spoken. Chad Basin agreement is also in place. So these are things, people who do not have any connection with the parts that they're making decisions over are making decisions that are impacting the people to whom the land belongs. Again, moral justification for self-determination. These are kind of the discussions we should be having among ourselves. These are the kind of things we should place before our people to make them understand that what they are calling governance is nothing more than a slave camp. It's a slave camp. So these are the steps I think we need to be looking at. So I just want to just recap on one thing. What is currently running, and somebody else can tell me different. What is currently running Yoruba Nation movement singularly, in my opinion, is passion. The passion for us to achieve Yoruba Nation. And I beg to suggest to everybody, young and old, that we cannot achieve Yoruba Nation with just passion alone. We need structure. We need organization. We need planning. We need transparency. Because transparency, when it's transparent, it allows for the continuation of the struggle. Because people know that when you're transparent, if they ask any information at any time, you can provide it and you can help people, and it builds more trust. And I'm talking about practical evidence of things. When they say the funds have gone to this place, you go and on ground you can see it. Not just on somebody say so. What we have now in the Yoruba Nation is somebody say so, they've said this, so believe it, move on. That does not, right now we can see with Yoruba Nation. Again, I say it again, when it comes to the rallies on ground, particularly on ground in Nigeria, we need to ensure we have a database in place. If you're going to keep the database somewhere, say fine, but have it. So that as soon as anything happens somewhere, have a database, have a medical help emergency healthcare plan. Do you have ambulances to go with the rally? Do you have in the areas that you are going to go? We should have a place where you can have minor surgery, so that we can take care of our people. These are part of it. We can't just leave. This is it requires in-depth planning. It requires it requires in-depth planning by all of us. And unless we, collectively, on every area that you care to mention, even if you're going to talk about, security, security in all of the 8 states, it requires planning, it requires discussion, and best practices can be shared among each other. Oh, I found about this. Then in those meetings you can discuss it, and it saves time, and we are consistent in what we're doing together. But it requires structure. Let me give you an example of the kind of structure. I've told you before, the council of elders or council of youth, one of them, you can have one each. You can have, even here is a suggestion as I'm talking to you now, you can have an elder as the head in the state, and you have the youth as the deputy. How about that? I don't know. How about that? And the point is, it fulfills the needs of both the young and old in each of the communities. And then they have a meeting when they are going to talk about, so when the certain meetings, the elders will speak for the movement. Certain meetings, the youth, the deputy will come out and speak. So again, it's all about structure, because that way we have a way to place things, and the media can be better managed in that process that way. Once we have a structure, then nobody will just suddenly come out without getting, because having one person talk, that's been the major problem in this discussion. One person can come and destroy many of whatever plans you have in place. Oh, well, they've spoken, that one has spoken, and we are all fighting ourselves, forgetting the main goal of Yoruba Nation. But if we have a structure on ground, and that structure will mean when they go and speak, where did you get this from? Then if they even speak, come out and say they've said it, we go and speak to the elders and the deputy, who are going to be the youth, and they can then collectively say, again, they come out, and they always come not in one, they come out. So when they speak, that authority that we've placed in them as members of Yoruba Nation, there is a lot of work that we need to do. We need a lot of our experts abroad and at home. We need to begin to collate some kind of information around that, because we will need them in this struggle, in the various areas, the various expertise. And one of the things that I want us to really do, if we're going to go for Yoruba Nation, being a lawyer or a doctor, asking for money to do something about your nation is not something that will promote Yoruba Nation. Yes, there will be. Yes, Yeti Queen, there will be. They will be able to challenge everybody's, but with respect, of course. You can ask a question in a respectful manner. Sir, we heard, Ejo, please provide the evidence. And it shouldn't be a problem. Without abuse, without malice, just ask a straight question. Likewise, the elder can say the youth have been accused of something. They say, okay, fine, what we've heard that this money was provided. Can you provide the details so we can verify? Thank you. End of story. We need to be matter of fact about this. This is not about, you see, respect has its place in our community, and it will always do. But in building Yoruba Nation, we need to ensure that it fits in the right manner. When it comes to transparency, transparency should be above all of that. But of course, how you are transparent, there is nothing wrong in respecting people and asking questions about transparency. There is no, and they have to answer it. If anybody hides behind Baba Sokwe to prevent them from being transparent, then that's fraud. If a youth goes behind, oh, I don't like the way the Baba spoke to me, so I'm not going to provide it. That is fraud. They are trying to hide behind, to not provide what we need to build our nation. These are the kind of discussions that I think we need to be talking about. We need to be having that kind of discussion among ourselves, in all honesty. And I think in all our communities now, I think there's even a time where we should be able to have, we need to retrain our communities. All of these new Yoruba musicians, Yoruba actors, we need to be doing shows that's going to emphasize the need of showing respect, but transparency. Transparency should be something that should be all over our community. So it prepares us for the work we need to do down the road. In fact, transparency is the most important thing in terms of priority for me right now. If we have transparency, it builds trust. Without transparency, people will just say, oh, they've taken the money. When you have transparency, it removes the lack of trust. People, and this is where we're going. We need part of for the last 3 years, we have not had transparency. Yes, some people have volunteered transparency as to how the funds have been spent on the GoFundMe and all that. I certainly have done that, and so a few others have done that as well. But overall, as soon as the question begins, okay, can you provide an account of where the funds went? Then it becomes, oh, you are being abusive. Then it becomes, oh, you're not respecting your elders. No, that's then when somebody is trying to use the elder issue to cover the fact that funds have gone missing. Can you see they're two separate things? And that is why we're talking about, if we're going to build anything, that structure has to provide that clarity, the transparency, the accountability. You see, when you have transparency, it gives you also accountability, because the person who provides the information, that means he's willing to be accountable to the people. He's willing to be accountable to the people. And that is what we need. When people are telling you stories, oh, it's my account, it's me, it's this, or it's not, then they're not looking at the overall structure. They're looking at only the impact on themselves. And correct me if I'm wrong, Yoruba Nation is about 60 million people, minimum. 60 million on ground. And perhaps another 20 who are abroad, diaspora, and not to talk about the Brazilians and the Cubans and the others. There's over 300 million Yoruba people around the world, but according to estimates. But we didn't know until recently. And I have to give kudos to Professor Banji Akintoye on the kind of history work has done on that area. Look, we cannot, I'm not going to just rubbish anybody and just say somebody's, no, it's not going to achieve anything. Give credit where it's due, but also say when things are, we must make the changes, and we must. So and in this journey we have to be there. No stone, we must leave no stone unturned. The 4 people that you see in the picture, they are, whether we like it or not, part of the current leadership. Now, in my own opinion, and in my own opinion, I think we need to restructure everything from top to bottom. Everything has to be relooked at. Everything has to be restructured. We need a new structure, and we need vibrant youth to lead this thing who are committed, and they need a proper explanation as to what we're trying to achieve. And we need to be our people to understand that having only how can I put it, a passion alone is not enough for this struggle. Just passion alone is not enough. There's a lot of work behind the scenes that we all must be part of to build and things. And we have to, without getting our people consistently joining us in this struggle on ground, we can't achieve it. We can't achieve it. The people on ground, they are very important in this struggle. And it is important we reach them, we meet them where the track meets the road, and help them in part of the structure. Part of the structure must build that in as part of the fabric of the structure. So that in every community, they can identify and see, okay, Yoruba Nation, that alone spreads our message. It creates goodwill. But all of this is not going to be overnight. Don't get me wrong. This is going to be systematic, gradual processes put in place, tested, reviewed, then rolled out. Then, it's going to be painfully slow in the beginning. But once we roll it out and we are consistent and there's transparency at every point, believe you me, we will be amazed at the finished product. We will be. So, yeah. Oh, somebody's calling me. Okay. Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay, mo dupe pe. Ẹ káàsán sir. Ẹ káàsán, ẹ ṣeun. Yes. Yes. Yes, no, ẹ má worry. The other one ni but that's fine. That's okay because it's not on. So
because I'm calling directly from the workstation.
Yes, that's fine. I'm going.
Now,
Yes.
In congratulate because ìwọ tí mo ti mọ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ kó tó di pé o yapa o lọ bá mi ìyẹn làwọn olóyìnbó máa pè ní o deviate o yapa.
Okay. Okay.
Lọ sí ibi tí ò yẹ kó lọ sí.
Okay.
Now
mo gbọ́ yín.
gbogbo àwọn nǹkan tí èmi rí nígbà yẹn tí mo fi ń bá gbogbo yín jà.
Yes. Yes.
tí mo dẹ̀ gbé ìjà yẹn kó oníkálukú yín tí mo yàrá tí mo dẹ̀ fárígá.
Yes.
gbogbo yín rí nǹkan tí mo rí.
Yeah.
gbogbo yín mọ nǹkan tí mo mọ̀.
Yes.
Many people wọn mọ nǹkan tí mo mọ̀. àwọn information tó tiẹ̀ jẹ́ pé wọn ò tiẹ̀ fi sínú ìwé sínú history tó wà ní ọwọ́ mi tí gbogbo yín ò mọ̀ tó jẹ́ pé ibi tèmi ti ń gbé imú mi káàkiri tí mò ń sún imú mi sí gbogbo everywhere tí gbogbo àwọn tó ní agbára káàkiri Nàìjíríà tó ń lérò pé èèyàn tó gbádùn ni mí ṣùgbọ́n èmi ò dẹ̀ kí n ṣe èèyàn tó gbádùn èmi gangan mo sọ fún TJ àti gbogbo ẹgbẹ́ ẹ wò dáadáa èmi ò ṣe èèyàn tó gbádùn ojú kan làdá ti tèmi ní.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Ibi tí ojú kan àdá ti tèmi dẹ̀ ní ibẹ̀ ni ó máa ń dojú kọ. mo lérò pé mo ti kọ́kọ́ sọ fún gbogbo yín tí o bá rántí dáadáa.
Yeah.
ní year 2020 nígbà tí Professor Banji Akintoye tó ní kò sí nǹkan kan tó ń jẹ́ Yoruba Nation Yoruba World Congress mọ́. tó ní òun ti dissolve ẹ̀ tó wá dá ìlànà ọmọ Oòduà sílẹ̀.
Yeah.
action tí ìgbésẹ̀ tí Professor Banji Akintoye gbé nígbà yẹn.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
ó jẹ́ nǹkan tó jẹ́ nǹkan ìbànújẹ́.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
sí mi. And then Citizen AY.
Yes, sir.
ó mọ gbogbo bí ìgbésẹ̀ ìṣe wáyé.
Yep.
ìwọ gan fún rẹ ó tiẹ̀ wá even closer sí Professor Anthony Killer.
Yes, I was. Yes, and I am still. Yes.
And lóòótọ́ Professor Anthony Killer ní time yẹn nǹkan tí ò yé gbogbo àwọn tó ń pera wọn ní agitator yìí.
Yes.
ní pé Professor Anthony Killer èèyàn tó jẹ́ pé ó wà well bred.
Very, extremely.
tí ọpọlọ ẹ̀ ò dàrú.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
èèyàn tó jẹ́ pé ó wà publicly educated in England. tó jẹ́ pé a product of one of the prime universities in the world, Oxford.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
tó jẹ́ pé area tó specialize jẹ́ lórí strategic planning.
Yep.
Now, ṣé irú èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn ló yẹ kí Ṣọlá Sàlàkọ́ àti Tajudeen Rahim àti Akínọlá George ló yẹ kán send packing out of Yoruba World Congress torí pé kí ni àwọn gbọ̀ngàn fẹ́ gba ipò tí Professor Anthony Killer wà. gbogbo kìíní yẹn èmi ò fẹ́ gbẹ́nu lọ síbẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n ibi tí gbogbo ẹ̀ ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní wọ́ tẹ́mi dẹ̀ ti rí pé ṣé kò ń ṣe pé olórí burúkú ni gbogbo ẹ̀yin pípù yìí. Now, Professor Banji Akintoye ó paná Yoruba World Congress. ó lóun ò fẹ́ bá gbogbo àwọn àgbààgbà yòókù ṣe. kò fẹ́ bá Dr. Akinga, Dr. Amos Akinga. kò fẹ́ kó ṣe. kò fẹ́ bá Ajibola Adéníyì. kò fẹ́ bá ṣe. kò fẹ́ bá Ayọ̀ Adébánjọ àti Afẹ́nifẹ́re. kò fẹ́ bá wọn ṣe. Professor Banji Akintoye wá ní òun ní alànà ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. What a whole load of nonsense. Bàbá Awólọ́wọ̀ gan kò put ara ẹ̀ first ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ni. Nǹkan kan tó kàn máa ṣẹlẹ̀ nígbà tí bàbá Awólọ́wọ̀ òun náà ní pé tí gbogbo àwọn àgbààgbà tó bá ti jókòó tó bá ti jẹ́ pé wọ́n fẹ́ make a decision lórí ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Bàbá Awólọ́wọ̀ kan máa sọ pé okay, this is the final decision. Decision yẹn as olórí tó má dẹ̀ ti make ẹ̀ òun náà máa pass sí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá. Kí ló wá dé tí Professor Banji Akintoye ní dandan òun ni olórí àlànà ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Èmi for one mi ò ní bá mi ní subscribe sínú idea yẹn. Èmi dẹ̀ máa fún èmi sọ lórí show ẹ̀ ní èmi. Àwọn tó bá jẹ́ ọ̀tá mo ti rí àwọn kan mo ti rí program kan tó ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní gbé àwọn kan ṣe pé àfihàn tẹ̀lé àfikún kìnìkan I don't bother care unless tó bá jẹ́ pé kò ṣe òtítọ́.
Yes.
Tí o bá dúró sórí òtítọ́
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
àti òdodo ní èpè wọn ló máa mú ẹni yẹn ṣùgbọ́n.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Lórí òtítọ́ èpè wọn máa padà sórí wọn eventually ni. Now, advice tí èmi máa fún èmi ò tiẹ̀ mẹ́tò tí ò ń jẹ́ Professor Adeniran in the first place because kò join wa in the first place. Gbogbo ìgbà tí a fi propagate Professor Banji Akintoye ní year 2020. Èmi ò mẹ́tò ń jẹ́ Professor Adeniran. Èmi ò mẹ́tò ń jẹ́ Sunday Igboho. Èmi ò mẹ́tò ń jẹ́ Peter Onitiri o. Yes, we were one body as at that time. Èmi dẹ̀ lérò pé bóyá Professor ó máa ṣiṣẹ́ pẹ̀lú gbogbo àwọn àgbààgbà yòókù ni. Now, advice tí mi máa fún Professor Banji Akintoye àti gbogbo àwọn other people tó bá ní àwọn wà nínú agitation yìí, ẹ lọ ronú pìwàdà, ẹ lọ join hands, ẹ sowọ́pọ̀ pẹ̀lú gbogbo àwọn àgbààgbà tó ti ń ṣe ìgbésẹ̀ tó dẹ̀ ń tó ètò yìí lọ. Àwọn èmi sọ̀rọ̀ pa àwọn 350 eminent elders forum.
Wow. Ẹ sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ náà lánàá mo rí pé mo gbọ́ tẹ sọ lánàá.
Dr. Akin Fakpemuda, Professor Banji Akintoye ò ní sọ pé mo mọ Dr. Akin Fakpemuda. Dr. Akin Fakpemuda kò ní secretary ẹgbẹ́ yẹn. Mo lérò pé mo ti fi gbogbo kíní mo ti fi mọ́.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Mo ti gbé ìwé mo ti gbé jáde. Ìwé tó ti lọ sí Senate. Technically, kò yẹ kí election 2023 go hold because àwọn àgbààgbà yẹn 350 eminent elders forum yẹn wọ́n ti sọ fún Senate àti House of Representatives wípé kọ́ return Nigeria back to the 1963 constitution of the regional formation of Western region, Midwest, Eastern region, and Northern region, with a clause inside that 1963 constitution stating that there should be a referendum in the very near future should Western region want to secede away from Nigeria. Kọ́lá wọn fẹ́ dá dúró or Midwest fẹ́ dá dúró or Eastern region fẹ́ dá dúró or Northern region wọ́n fẹ́ dá dúró. Tí Professor Banji Akintoye àti gbogbo àwọn tó ń sọ báwọn tó aláriwo tó ń pariwo káàkiri, tí Professor Banji Akintoye tí ó bá lead delegation yẹn tí ó bá dẹ̀ ṣiṣẹ́ pọ̀ pẹ̀lú Ayọ̀ Adébánjọ, I'm afraid nǹkan máa gbẹ̀yìn lẹ́yìn Professor Banji Akintoye. It is not too late for Professor Banji Akintoye to now go back to the drawing board and then go back to where he belongs. Professor Akintoye is a member of Afenifere. Kó padà sí ibi tó ti ń bọ̀. Gbogbo nǹkan tí Professor ti dá sílẹ̀ ní old Ondo State, perhaps Adariji, because for me, èmi rí Professor Banji Akintoye as a politician. The leopard never changes its color.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
And on that note, Citizen AY,
Yes.
I will leave you to carry on with the program.
Ẹ ṣeun.
And I will rest my case. Thank
Ẹ
you.
ṣeun. sir. So, but you know, sir, we will probably do a program. We will schedule a program and do something later on when we'll get something sorted up for that. But so, I don't have to repeat what Frank Bello said. But what I definitely I am definitely in agreement that it is better to go in numbers than go alone. If we go together, we can reach, we can achieve a lot than going alone. And I think that is a message for not only ourselves, but our elders as well and the youth. We need to definitely work in together. So the elders group that they talked about, Dr. Fakunda, it's a great suggestion that they're doing there. We need the youths to also create something themselves, and maybe the meeting of those two will get us somewhere, somewhat. But having said all of that, I am the family of the firm belief that our structure must take place. It's great to hear that there are 350 eminent elders speaking. That's fantastic. They need to, I'm sure there are things that could be put in place. And there is room for brilliant minds like Dr. and Professor Killer and others like him that can contribute greatly to this stuff, because we will need stuff that are obvious and out there, but we will need stuff that are behind the scenes. The combination of all of this will get us there. I firmly believe, and we have all of these things by the bucket load. The problem we have is that we are not applying ourselves in the struggle, and now the time has come. The time has come. Again, I stated, passion alone will not get us there. The passion is something that we need. We have to hold on to it. Put it in our left hand. Don't eat with it. No, we don't. But allied to the passion, I firmly believe in structure. In that structure, the elders and the youth can have meetings. And I put forward that idea. I'm saying it today. The elder can be in a state can be the elder. The deputy will be a youth. That way, in every state. And they should never, nobody should come out and make a statement on their own. No way. And then there will be time and place for organizations to discuss, again, funneling through, because that way we build that structure, and it allows us to focus on. Organizations will need to do work on the ground. If you are this organization, the work we do on ground in Yoruba Nation is key to us achieving Yoruba Nation. If we are just out talking and everything else without that work going on 24/7, we can't achieve Yoruba Nation. It's as simple as that. So Yeti Queen. I'm not saying that Elders Forum, because of their support for restructuring. I understand what you're saying, but right now everybody has a role to play. But if anybody, they can be, we can hear them out. But we going for Yoruba Nation, there is nothing stopping us from building a structure that of our own set of elders, so they can carry on. We don't have a problem with that. That's that's a middle way that they believe in, but we will stick with the Yoruba Nation. They can and we can have there's nothing wrong with having discussions, but building what we need to build is what I think is very important in the struggle. So I wanted to state that. I'm going to reshare this again on Facebook and on YouTube, and I will probably come back later on maybe, and I'll speak about in Yoruba at more length. But I wanted to just discuss this first because I felt so strongly that in this struggle, the people you see in this struggle, they've participated, in no doubt they've played a role in it, and those roles, nobody can forget that. But the next step of the struggle for me needs to ensure that before we even talk about leaders, we have a structure in place. The structure will live long after a leader has moved on to the next thing or whatever. And that structure is what will sustain us. The structure will sustain us. Without that structure, any leader we have, if something changes and the wind blows and they go that way, then everything collapses around that leader. Whereas if we have a structure, that structure now gives us a leader. That means that if something happens, whatever it is, the leader moves on, this structure is in place and we can continue with the central goal of Yoruba Nation. I think that's really, really important to state at this point. That's the kind of thinking that I would really like us to look at. And we don't have to, like I said, there are certain things that mustn't be talked about, and we will not talk about that on air. One of the things that I would definitely say to us is this. We must ensure that the safety of our youth is top priority on ground, especially when it comes to the rally. This young man that was killed, let me see if I can find his picture. Oh, I don't know if I've got his picture. I think I have it here. Let me just check. We're just gonna get the picture out. So that picture, that young man, may so rest in peace. Adi Orioke, I think it is called, Orioke. Or if so let me see if I can get that up. Let me see if I've got that there. So, where is it? I saw his picture and I was like, it was really sad, to be honest. Let's see if I can bring it out. Let me see. Okay, let me just go and get that. I'll go and get that up. So that's the picture of the young man. That's the picture of the young man, and I talked about him. It's something, I think it's called Adi Orioke. I hope you can see that picture. That is him there. And I spoke about him. We have to make sure, may his soul rest in peace. We have to remember, and you can watch more of what I said there, but I will surmise it this way. Anytime we go out on a struggle, anytime we do anything with this in terms of Yoruba Nation, we need to make sure that we have proper planning in place. We have to make sure, let me see if I can make that better. Can I? Yeah. So in fact, yeah. So that is him there. Now, we need to ensure that the leaders put something in place for this young man. Because his life is gone now. And he fought, he was standing for the struggle. One of the things that we are in danger of doing under the current system, and that's why I want to talk about, I just showed him briefly. One of the dangers of what we're doing under the current system is that we are putting our youths in danger. We are putting our youths, the future generation, in danger. Because we're saying just go and fight and everything else. There are different ways of doing this. We need them in our communities to be protecting. Because you see, every time we lose one or two at the struggle and during the rally, it sends out the wrong message. It's sending out a message that we don't want out there, that Yoruba Nation is dangerous. Yoruba Nation is about securing a better future for the coming generation. Yoruba Nation is about securing a better future for the coming generation, such as Adi Orioke, may so rest in peace. We need to make sure that that message is clear. So whatever it is that we are doing, it has to be planned. And again, I state, his family, his burial, this is something that should be coming out and discussed at length by elders, not just one, not just two. This is all of us. When we speak, and it is important that 8 people or 8 to 16 people from the state are in a meeting discussing it, planning it, because then it sends a message into our communities when they see themselves represented at such things, that every Yoruba person is important, and we would move heaven and earth to protect them, to make sure that they get a burial, and his name must go down like Arotile as one of the people who sacrificed themselves for Yoruba Nation. There has to be a book of remembrance for the heroes and heroines of Yoruba Nation, and he must be one of them. So, but the planning of what we do now is so important. I will come back. Please, those of you, endeavor, if you haven't signed up to Citizen Ewa on YouTube, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to Citizen Ewa on YouTube. We will stream. I'll restream this back there again, and I'm planning to do more and more of the streaming on YouTube, because it makes better sense. Facebook, you can see my numbers are down. We have over 120,000 followers on Facebook, and there's only 20 watching us. So that's evidence of what Facebook is doing. So I'm not too worried about that. But I hope the message gets through to people. I hope many people will share this message and reach more. And we need to think about where we're going. So like I said, which way for Yoruba Nation? Is the current structure or leadership effective? That's the question all of us need to really sit down and think about. I don't think it is. There is a poll that I put up in there that you can look at and answer and share if you want to, and answer it as well. So please, 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 we need a rethink. And I want us to know that the first 2 to 3 years of this movement has been about passion. And there's nothing wrong with passion. Now, the next few years, we have to ally to that passion structure, transparency, commitment, the willingness, accountability. You know, once you have all of those things I'm talking about, then it means that anybody coming in, and the structure will mean that it sustains. The structure will mean that if we have a new leader, the structure will mean that there is a format in which they operate and they can continue. So if that leader moves on, the next one comes in, again it continues. It means the structure actually protects the Yoruba Nation struggle to get us to the promised land. The structure is the bridge between current Yoruba Nation and current Nigeria and Yoruba Nation. The structure is the gap between the two. If we don't have that structure, we will never get to Yoruba land. It's not a curse, it's a fact. So we need to rethink what we are doing collectively. So at this juncture, nobody's calling in. That's okay. I know I did this late, and it was some technical issues. I want to thank you all for joining me. Do leave comments. The track you are hearing behind is a track that I wrote. How long? Please do take the time to download it. It's on YouTube. It's on iTunes. It's on Spotify, and it can help us in being able to do more work in terms of this movement, because I certainly want to continue to encourage. And there are sort of things that I'd rather not talk about on air, about the kind of things that we need to do to empower ourselves. And I want to congratulate the likes of Mayegun and many others for the unstinting work they're doing in reaching and communicating with the people and meeting them where they're most vulnerable and giving support. The work that's been done by Yoruba Union, led by that Mayegun has created, is very, very good. 600 people in 8 states. It's not a joke, and maybe more. And there's more that they will be helping. And that is something that all of us in this Yoruba Nation need to look at. When somebody's doing something that good, that is something that we could do and roll out. And it is not, there's no point in trying to reinvent the wheel. That is being done by Mayegun. That is something that we can bring on board. We can understand it, and build around. And let's not forget, he represents the youth as well. He represents them. He represents them, and his actions is actually, in many respects, more laudable than what we are seeing collectively at the minute. That's just my own view. But I will state it nonetheless, because I think the time has come for us to speak truth to power. As ever, when you are on Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power, that's all we come here to do. We don't come here to disrespect. We don't come here to abuse, because I am yet to see a nation built or that's given birth to on the basis of abuse among the very people who are trying to get that nation. It has never happened, and it will never happen. So we need to recognize that abusing ourselves, turning against the fight against each other, when we should focus on the injustices that is collectively affecting our people, is counterproductive to our aim of Yoruba Nation. So those of you that engage in fighting each other, that causing abuse, having a real show, people call in, thousands watch, just know that you are delaying the birth of Yoruba Nation. Because the more people that gather around such shows, you are taking them away from taking the real steps they need to take in making sure that we achieve Yoruba Nation. That's all you're doing. And it just means that all of us in the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years, we'll still be talking about Yoruba Nation. When in actual fact, we could have reduced that by half, maybe even more than half, if we all focus on the goal and not try to look at individuals and this one said an abuse and that. It is not, we're not going to achieve Yoruba Nation that way. So we need a rethink. I want many people, Ebo Frank Bello came up with the suggestion, the Council of Elders, they're having a meeting, Baba should speak to them. Yes. But I happen to think that Baba has done what he can do right now, and others, Onitiri, right now we need to redraw the whole thing. Once we get the right structure, the right leadership will come up. Once we get the right structure, the right leadership will come up. We haven't got the right structure now, because in the middle of all of this, people tell me that we've got structure. In the middle of this, as soon as there was any disagreement, the structure would have catered for that and actually dealt with it and made sure that anything that was untoward or not was revealed, and we move on. There is no structure to hold anybody accountable for whatever they did right now. There is no structure. Quote me. There isn't. If there is, let us know. There is no structure. And it goes and starts on the ground. The foundation of Yoruba Nation has to be rebuilt from the ground up. So, with that said, I want to thank you all for listening. I'll be back later on. I may come back later this evening. I may come back later on, and we'll come and continue with the discussions. But I wanted to say what I thought, and I wanted us to look at things from that point of view. And again, no one person has the power to decide the future for Yoruba Nation. It has to be a collective decision by 60 million Yoruba people. Our voices must be in that decision. Because if one person speaks for us under Yoruba Nation, let me show you something as a close. One person speaking for us equates to this. And I want you to think about that before you go. Let me show you what I mean. Let me show you what I mean. 1 second. I'll get you, because it's very important, this point. This is a very important point, well worth waiting for. Even though it's at the end of this broadcast, it's well worth waiting for. And it gives us real food for thought. Where is it? Where is it? Sorry, 1 second, please. Okay. Okay. No, not that one. Sorry, that's a different one. That's a Berlin one. That's another point. But anyway, this one. Yes, this one. You see, when one person speaks, this is the result. When one person speaks for the whole nation, this is the result. One person speaks, what happens? Listen to this. One person speaks, what happens? Look at there. Let me see if I can move it. Can I move it? Sorry about that. Move it to one side. I want you to see the name that was involved. See? General Abubakar Abdulsalam. That's the voice of one man. Putting people together without our say-so, imposed this constitution, this 1999 constitution. It was put on us by one man. He was the president. They agreed themselves, among themselves. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Let me go back again. Sorry. So I'm just showing you the voice of one man. We are suffering the consequences today. The voice of one man. We are suffering the consequences today. So when one person says they speak for Yoruba Nation, we need to reject it. Because this is what we will end up with if we don't reject it. We will end up in the same situation where the 1999 constitution was imposed on us by General Abubakar Abdulsalam without our say-so, with no referendum, nothing. That is the danger of Yoruba Nation replicating. That is why the danger of one voice is what I'm showing you. The danger of one voice. So I want us to consider that strongly. Think about what has just been said now. Do share this broadcast Share it again. I'm going to share it again on Facebook, on YouTube. Please subscribe to Citizen Ewa on YouTube. Like the page and reach more people. This second part of the broadcast, share it. It's really important. The danger of one voice. One voice imposed the 1999 Constitution on all of us. And 22 years after that, we are suffering. That is why we mustn't entertain the idea of one person speaking for 60 million Yoruba people. We mustn't entertain that idea at all. What is staring on in the face is the result of one man speaking for the rest of us. We mustn't let that happen. If you do disagree, leave a comment. And of course, you are entitled to disagree. But looking at what we've seen, I think it will be difficult to disagree with what I just said here. The danger of one voice speaking for us. The danger is that the person will decide what is best for 60 million people. One person cannot decide what is best for 60 million people. 60 million people must decide what is best for them via a referendum. That is what we're looking at now. So, with that said, I want to thank you very much. Thank you for joining Citizen Ewa, the platform where we speak truth to power. Let me see if I can. I'm going to try and do something. I hope it works. So please don't forget, if you are watching and you haven't downloaded How Long on YouTube, on iTunes or Spotify, please go ahead and do so. It's only £1 or something, or 90p or something. I don't know, something like that, and it would help in building what we're trying to do, because that song is written in Pidgin, something that will benefit all of us. So I think it's worth looking at.